Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome to the latest Monday Musings episode, which, for the first time in a while, I'm not pre-recording. It is 7:30 Monday morning, May 24th. Yeah, I haven't even had coffee yet. It is brewing in the moment. Well, the water's boiling. Not even that. The water is heating up in the kettle. The French press is prepped. At some point during the middle of this episode, I'll have to jump up and go pour that into the French press. But be that as it may, I'm awake. I've had a little bit of a snack, and now I'm just waiting for my coffee. So we're just going to go ahead and go right into this because it's later. Usually I publish these things at 7 o'clock in the morning, and this morning I woke up late. I feel well rested. Yeah, let's get to it. Last night I stayed up late playing Minecraft with my 6-year-old nephew and my brother. So summer vacation just hit last week for the kids. Um, and it was also his birthday weekend. And I guess a few weeks back, maybe a month ago, my brother told me that he came home from school raving about Minecraft because um, they've played it at school. And one of his friends has it on his iPad. And so he's just been nonstop about Minecraft. And um, so my brother tells me about 2 weeks ago, he's like, "Hey man, we should look into getting Minecraft so we can play with with him." And I was like, "That sounds interesting." I knew nothing about Minecraft, absolutely nothing, other than I've seen screenshots of it. I've never actually played it, never watched videos of it being played or anything of that nature. I've literally only ever seen screenshots. So I knew nothing about this game going into it. And went ahead and picked up last week, and last night we played. And I have to say, I was, I don't want to say impressed, but, I had fun, a lot of fun. It's also a lot different playing with a 6-year-old than other people because here's, this is going to be a little bit of a sort of a, I don't want to call it a rant, but when I play games these days with other veterans like myself who have been playing MMORPGs and video games for a long time now, I've been playing games for 30 years. Um, we're so jaded. Like, all we ever do is bitch about how this game doesn't hold up to that game and how this doesn't look like this and this doesn't feel as good as this. We have all these things that we can compare it to, and so we're constantly doing that. And as a result, we don't ever let ourselves truly sit back and enjoy the game that's being offered to us because somewhere in our mind there's something that's always going, yeah, but remember this game was better, or this game did this better. And when I was playing with him last night, it was just amazing listening to my 6-year-old nephew. Just like everything was awesome, everything was amazing, everything was like the best thing in the world. It was just, and I'm remembering back to when I played, my first, which I think for me, one of the first ones I remember, apart from, I can remember on the Nintendo system, it wasn't Mario Brothers or Duck Hunt, those are the ones that came with that. I think the one that always got me right at the beginning was there was that Star Wars game and the Empire Strikes Back game for the Nintendo. Those two games for me were like just amazing. But the one on the computer that I remember the most, like being the one that really hit home, was Quest for Glory 1. Um, or King's Quest 6, both of those, but really Quest for Glory 1. Um, that game for me, it was, I remember being, you know, not as young as him, but young enough, and just everything about that game was just, oh, this is so cool, this is so amazing. And it was there for him last night playing Minecraft with him. Um, so yesterday was his birthday party, and the unveiling was quite amusing because he didn't realize that my brother had bought it for him. And so my brother sends me this video, and he's got it loaded up on his laptop, on my nephew's laptop, which he does not have a new laptop. This is you know it was an old laptop that just got to the point where uh, my sister-in-law couldn't use it anymore for work. I mean, we're talking like a 7-year-old laptop, and it just the flip top, the monitor just kind of got to the point where it was falling off the actual laptop case. So my brother just like repaired it and put it back together and gave it to his son as his first, because it still works great. It's just that it's flopping around. So had it installed in the laptop, and my nephew walks around the corner, and my brother's like, "So hey, what about this?" My brother, and you see my nephew's just eyes just got huge, and he's like, "Oh, you've got Minecraft, dude! This is the best game ever!" And he starts like telling my brother like all of these things about Minecraft and why it's the best video game ever, and how my brother's just gonna love it, and he's gonna have so much fun, and then he was like, well, I want to watch you play and everything, and my brother's like, no, 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 this is for you. This is your birthday present. Happy birthday. And he was just like he didn't have, he was literally speechless. And then my brother telling him that, well, I got a copy and your Uncle Tim got a copy, and he was like, so we're gonna be able to play together. And yeah, it was quite a cool moment. And then getting to play with him, we played for like 3 hours last night. I don't even really play. It's rare for me to sit down and play a game for more than 3 hours um, at the PC. Uh, Usually I do hour and a half, 2 hours. So I mean, we played a lot last night. And it was funny because at some point, my sister-in-law came down and she was like, "How late are you guys staying up tonight?" And my little 6-year-old nephew's like, "Midnight." Like, just he's in, man. Hook, line, and sinker. He is in. So that was quite amusing last night. So that's what I did last night. And having played Minecraft now, um, I now understand a little bit more some of the mechanics behind like Valheim. Like I'd watched videos in Valheim, intrigued by it and everything else, and I never knew that it was just literally a Minecraft. It was Minecraft with a Viking skin. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh, so this is that vein of games, this style of games, and maybe that just shows, excuse me, a little lack of um, understanding on my part about what those types of games are. I've just never been into the whole. You know, I mean, I tried to play. I saw a little bit of that in. I'm blanking on the game. It is a science fiction game that's in early access right now. Dual Universe has a little bit of that going on, where you go out, you just mine everything, and you build up from there, but it's in space. But Minecraft was the first time I sucked my teeth into it and went, oh, okay, so this is how this all works. And now I'm seeing and understanding all these other games that have sort of riffed, not ripped, riffed. Rift is different. They've riffed on Minecraft and sort of expanded on that idea. So a lot of fun. I don't see myself playing that game outside of when I play it with my nephew. It's just I got too many other irons in the fire, and it's not something where I'm going to be a Minecraft streamer or something like that. But it is fun. We did have a lot of fun last night. He's terrified of zombies that come out at night, and he won't come into the caves and mine with us unless we're both there, and he won't run around by himself at night because he's terrified. But it's quite amusing. And then my brother was getting sniped. He was trying to build a castle for us to stay in, or at least a brick home, and he was getting sniped by these flying creatures that had glowing green eyes. And then I got terrified. I had a moment of like true terror where I was out running around and I heard these weird sound effects, and I turn around and there's like this tall black creature with glowing purple eyes and like purple spell effects coming after it, and it's like chasing me and making these creepy noises, and it almost got me, like it almost took me out, but I survived. But there was a moment where I was like truly panicked because I was not expecting there to be creepy stuff in Minecraft, and yeah, I wasn't ready for that. So that's what I did last night. It was fun. What else did I do this past week? Oh, Days Gone. Wow. Okay, so I put out a review on this yesterday, last night, and I still haven't beat it yet. I'm deep in that game now. That game, I have nothing bad about to say about that game. This is one of those games where I haven't played a game like that in a long time. I'm listening for the kettle. Um, Going back to what I was saying earlier about how I've been playing games so long now that, like most other players of my age, we tend to just constantly critique and criticize and complain when all these games come out about how it's not as good as this and blah 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 blah. So Days Gone, I got for free as part of my PlayStation Plus subscription, which I know the creative director has made some very strong comments about that. He's like, "Yeah, that's one of the reasons our game wasn't as successful as it should have been, is because all these people who got it for free or whatever and didn't pay full price." And I'm like, I get that criticism, I totally do, but I also cannot control, and neither can you. If you have a publisher like you do, they're the ones who control that. So it's not up to me as the player. If I'm subscribed to a service or I have Epic Game Launcher on my platform or Steam or whatever the case may be, if they give me free stuff, I'm going to take advantage of that. That's not on me. That's not my fault. Um, and somehow or another, this game fell through the radar. I never played it. Um, and it was there. I downloaded it. I literally had no intentions of playing it. I'm not gonna lie. I downloaded it, and like probably 95% of the games that I get for free every month from PlayStation Plus, they just sit there in my library because one day I might. Same thing with Epic Games Launcher. I download a free game every single week, sometimes more. This week I didn't because I already own NBA 2K21 on the PlayStation, which I didn't pay full price for. I got it on a discount, but I paid like $40 for it. Anyway, I have probably there's over 100 games now that I have on this PC, or in my libraries, I should say, not on this PC, but in my libraries. I've got more than 100 games that are just sitting there that I'll probably never play. So I fully anticipated never playing this game, and that is the kettle. And I will be right back for those of you watching. One second. All right. So downloaded it, fully anticipated never playing it because I was just like, it's just another game that's going to sit in my library. Plus, Mass Effect Legendary Edition just dropped recently, so I was like, I'm going to be busy with Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and all this other stuff. So I was like, it's just going to sit there. Then I finished up Mass Effect Legendary Edition last week, way sooner than I anticipated. The first game, I have not played the second or third game yet. Um, but I had a couple of days there where I just kind of binged Mass Effect and just ended up getting the first game completed. I also didn't play Mass Effect the completionist way like I did the first time because um, I didn't want to go around and just do all the because you get those missions from Admiral Hackett or whatever. And those are just fluff, and I already had all the skill points and everything else. So I was like, I'm just gonna beat the game. So I was left with this like because Celeste is coming out on the 27th, right? So I knew that I'm gonna be playing Celeste when that comes out, and that's gonna probably be a couple of weeks, maybe. I don't know how long it'll take me to beat that game completely. But I was like, I've now got a week because I finished Mass Effect Legendary Edition, so I got a week before Solasta drops. What am I gonna play? I was like, what am I gonna play? And I have Lord of the Rings Online, but I've been kind of taking a break from that a little bit to enjoy some other stuff. I've kept my subscription and everything else. So I was like, hey, I noticed that there was a bunch of press going around about the PC drop of Days Gone. So they released a PC version which has better graphics and a screenshot mode and all this other stuff. And so I was like, I've got this game in my library. I'm gonna go ahead, and then I found out that I believe his name is Witwer. Sam Witwer is an actor. I'm at least familiar with him. First time I saw him was in Battlestar Galactica, and then of course he did the Force Awakens games, and he's done Darth Maul in all the animated stuff for Star Wars. So I know him as an actor. At least I've seen a few things that he's been in. I really loved his character, even though he didn't last very long in Battlestar. But I love the Force Awakens, and I love what he's done with Darth Maul. And he does the main character, and so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this game a shot. So I loaded it up, and it just sat there for a couple of days, and then I woke up. I don't remember what day it was now. Last Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day it was. I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning, and was like, hey, I don't need to do any work until 10 o'clock, so I'm just gonna go play this game for a little bit. And I started playing at like 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there. And then the next thing I knew, it was 9 o'clock. Like I was like, what? What time is it? How did that happen? Like, the time just flew by. And I was left there sitting going, I just played like 5 hours and didn't feel like it was even 30 minutes. Like, I haven't had a game do that for me in a long time. And that's that jaded aspect that I was talking about earlier. It was just like it grabbed me and it pulled me in. And I don't binge games very often anymore. I don't. As I've gotten older too, my eyes just can't take it. You know, when I play more than 3 or 4 hours, they get all grainy and sandpapery, and I just don't like to do that. We live in a very dry climate here. It's like 10% humidity, so even running the humidifier, I can't play games like I used to. It's just I don't. Plus, I don't like to sit in one place. It's not very healthy, and um, try to get up and move around. But this game, I have been binge playing it. Saturday into Sunday, I probably played, I don't know, I played 10 or 12 hours on Saturday, and I played 10 or 12 hours on Sunday. Um, and Chris was making fun of me because my eyes were just like all red and bloodshot, and 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 I was like, worth it. Um, really cool game. I don't want to spoil the review, so if you want to hear me rant about more, like in a good way, talking about that more, there is a video review that I did. But I've played it more since because I recorded that review like last Thursday or Friday, and then I played it all over the weekend. And there's just so much more I've uncovered that I wished I would have put into that review. Because it's like a mixture of, there's a little bit of Last of Us in there, but then there's a little bit of Red Dead Redemption in there, and there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's just really cool. And riding your motorcycle through the wilderness is just pretty awesome. Running zombies over, what's not to love? Um, really good game. So go check that review out if you haven't already. What else? Hmm. Mondays in MMORPGs is out in a couple of hours. It'll be out at 10 o'clock. And today we're with Ashen Phoenix from Crashed While Loading, who's a podcast you should check out as well. Um, he's actually scheduled. We've already got him coming on again tomorrow night to record another episode that's going to be coming out in early June. He'll probably come on a few episodes. He's got the free time, and he's like us. He's got a passion for MMORPGs and likes to talk about things. So we're gonna probably have him on more frequently. So that's out in a couple of hours. No new shows this week. I did watch, but I did a review of it as well. I watched the second season of Love, Death, and Robots, and I put a review up on my YouTube channel if you haven't watched that already. First time I've ever done a show review. Didn't really do very well, so I might try one or two more and see if they do better for the channel. But if they don't get going and they don't get a lot of traffic, then I won't do them anymore. But if you want to know more about that show, you can check that review out. Overall, I was fairly disappointed with the second season. There were some gems in there, but it was way too short. Going from 18 episodes to 8 was like, come on, like really, that just meh. And so the amount of what was available was just so less. It just kind of felt half-assed to me. So there were some gems in there, like I said. Check that out. Let's see what else. Travel's reopening up. Looks like Italy is reopening their borders, so we're thinking that we might go overseas this winter, depending on vaccinations. We'll see. Um, don't know yet. I do know that we're talking about the next venture. My wife and I are talking about the next thing we're going to do with our travel brand as we come out of COVID and get vaccinated. We're pretty sure that one of the things we're going to be doing is, and we're probably going to be doing this with my brother and my sister-in-law, in terms of the investment. But we're thinking about doing a van life experiment up in North America. I should say, well, I'm technically Mexico's North America, but United States and Canada. Um, Probably next year. We're looking at that. We're not sure what that's going to look like yet, but at some point we're thinking we're gonna go do a van, uh, buy a van, remodel it, renovate it, take it on a 2 or 3 month road trip, and then turn around and sell it, and see if we could make some money off of that. We'll see. Um, it's the very short version of it. I don't wanna get into too much of that because that's a long project if we do it. But we've been looking at that because we've done a lot of travel over the years. We've always wanted to do a caravan type thing, so we're thinking we might try that next year. I don't want to do it full time. Sorry, the idea of living in a van full time just not does not appeal to me. Plus, I have too many real world. I need good internet. I need, there are a lot of things I need, but you can get, you know, what's going to be really interesting is if Elon Musk's Starlink internet does what it's supposed to do, then worrying about crappy internet while on the road is going to be a thing of the past. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what is going to come out of that program. Because if they can make that work like they're proposing it will, then you'll be able to do things like go off grid for months at a time and still have reliable gigabit internet service. And if they can solve that problem, I would have less of an issue doing, something more remote and doing things because my Chris loves the idea of just being on the road all the time and going and living in the mountains and campgrounds and the idea of a mobile base of operations. I like the idea, but the limitation for me has always been on internet because everything I do, not just this, um, everything I do on YouTube right now is a hobby. Um, but my day job is and has been for many, 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 many years is purely based on the internet. I don't do anything, unless we're on a contract or we're going somewhere to do a physical photo shoot or something. Even then, that's like, 5% of the job. The other 95% is me sitting here making videos, doing social media, um, constantly needing the internet to access my databases and spreadsheets and collaborative projects and everything else, and uploading and downloading gigabytes of information on a daily basis. And so the idea of being limited by an internet connection is something that I just can't deal with. But doing something where I am, I can plan ahead and say, okay, for these 2 months I'm going to be on, because I've done this before, when we went to Spain, we went to Ireland, and all these other projects have gone up to the United States a couple times. I can plan around those types of ventures and say, okay, if I'm going to be off grid for, not off grid, but if I'm going to be doing this for 2 months, then I need to prep all of this in the 3 months leading up to this. That way, when I'm doing this project for 2 months and I have limited internet access, these things are still already out the door, and those things, I could do whatever I need to do on a more limited basis. So I just have to plan ahead. So even next year, I'll have to plan ahead. But I'm looking forward for Starlink to where I won't have to plan ahead and I'll just be able to take things one day at a time. Because Chris likes the idea of doing a van. We've been talking about it I think the first time we started talking about it was 2015, which was when we were in Spain, and we were just looking at all the amazing campgrounds. And I was like, well, hey, she had not been to the United States at that point, because her first trip to the U.S. was in 2017. And so I was like, look, this is if you like this idea and you like this style, um, we could probably do that in the United States and Canada. You can't do it in Mexico, and it's not. for the reason most people think, which is safety. There's no campground infrastructure here. It's not like the United States and Canada where the government has invested billions of dollars into the infrastructure for the national park systems. That has not happened here. So the idea of campgrounds where you can go and have, a water access and electricity and, a place to park your RV or your van or whatever the case may be, that just doesn't exist here. I mean, yeah, there are a handful of places, but it's not like in the US and Canada where you've got hundreds, if not 1,000 or more, different locations that are specifically set up so that you can go in, pay your 30, 40 bucks a day or whatever and hook your van up, hook your RV up, and stay for a week. Um, and there's laundry facilities, bathrooms, and showers, and all that other stuff. That just does not exist here. So if you want to do that type of thing, if you want to do a caravan, RV, van, you have to think about where. Um, and that's the reality of it. So when we started looking at it in 2015, the limitation was like, well, A, I need good internet, and B, we can't do it in Mexico, so we'll just have to wait. And then we went when we were up in the U.S. in 2017. We went to when we were in Missouri, and I grew up in that area, and where my family lives now is like an hour and a half from Branson, and about an hour and a half from Lake of the Ozarks. So we didn't go up to Lake of the Ozarks, but we did go down to Branson, and we went camping um, for a few days, and we just drove around, and she was just looking around like all the RV parks and the lakes and just everything. And it's like, well, yeah, that type of infrastructure is huge in the US. Like you can just and you start seeing like she's like, but look at these people. They have this huge thing and they live in it and the juices started flowing. Her creative juices really like the idea of a caravan. So I think we're gonna try some sort of caravan slash RV next year. We'll see. We're in the planning stages right now. We've been talking about it for about 2, 3 months now, looking at prices, and we wouldn't be buying it to hold on to. It would be buying it to use, to remodel, to renovate, and then turn around and sell it as an investment, make a little money off it, and then maybe do it again next year. But it would not be something where we buy it and sit on it and use it every year. It's going to be buy it, use it, sell it. If that makes money, then we would turn around and do it again the following year. We'll see. I also follow Tom Green, who a lot of people remember from the Tom Green show. He's a lot different these days. He's a lot more laid back, but he's got a van now, and he's doing his van life thing on YouTube, and it's been very entertaining to watch because he had his van custom built for a podcasting studio, um, or for a multimedia studio. So, and his he's got like $100,000 van, which is unrealistic for it's probably not 100,000. Let me rephrase that. I know the place where he got it renovated charges between $30,000 and $40,000 to renovate. Plus, he bought a brand new van, which is around $35,000. So he's probably got, I would estimate, 80,000 into his van, which is really expensive. Um, but it's got a whole multimedia studio kit, all the solar panels, and I mean it's an on the road studio. And he's doing this big road trip right now. He left LA, drove all the way across the United States to like New York, and he went up into Ottawa. Um, I believe that's where he's at right now. Or I don't forget, whatever. He's on the eastern side of Canada. Went back to his hometown. So I like watching his YouTube channel because for a long time he was using the van, like going out and doing these week-long road trips into the desert, going to like Utah and Idaho and Arizona and stuff, and then just decided to do this big, multiple week road trip back to his hometown. So that's on the side. Yeah. All right, where are we at? 30 minutes in. Project Drama time. We're kind of just we're wrapping up the month of May right now, which means at some point, probably this weekend, I'm going to do the big public post where we do an update for the whole month, what everything's been doing. Chris has been cranking out concept art. Um, I've been working on all of I thought they were background. I thought they were factions, but now I'm wondering if it's more apt to call this section backgrounds But it is kind of both. It's like we have to talk about the Circle of Mages, and we have to talk about the Church of the Elder Ways, and now we've got the Fuwar Shipping Agency and the Raven Syndicate and the Seekers and all these groups. But they're also backgrounds because, in a way, um, if you choose that group for your character, you have a backstory for your character. It is a background of sorts. So I may be renovating that section to not be about factions, but just backgrounds. And these are the various backgrounds that you can choose for your character. I don't know yet, but that's the section I'm fleshing out right now. I also have done classes this month. I've not finished with the classes, but I've got enough there now for the starting play session. We've got, I don't even know. There's more than a dozen classes at this point. I think 15 or so. So we have a good selection of starting classes. Um, I added the last week. I added the hedge mage and the warden, which is like a pet class, but not your typical pet class. It's like I kind of looked. I got some inspiration from his Dark Materials, the Dark Materials series, um, on how the bonding works between the animal and the child. Um, so yeah, I mean, been having fun with classes as well. So I've been working on that in the tabletop front, and then my brother has been, which we shared some screenshots out over the last couple of weeks. He's now replacing gray boxes in the prototype zone, so he's actually putting in the actual buildings. So that's been moving ahead full speed. So yeah, we're trying again. We're trying to have the demo for the game out by July. Um, the demo for the sometime in July, here in about probably the next couple of weeks, we're gonna do a call for playtesters. First, I got to get with my brother and see what nights that he could dedicate to because he needs to, he wants to be and he needs to be a part of those play sessions um, as a player. And so we're gonna have room for 6 or 7 other people. And excuse me, I would anticipate that it's going to be a 6 to 8 week commitment for people who are going to do the play testing. So it's not going to be this campaign that we're playing every Thursday for the next 6 months. No, it's going to be here's 2 months. You need to dedicate 2 months. Just block these 2 months out. We're going to meet up once every Saturday, once every Sunday, whatever. Play for 2 or 3 hours each time. We're going to stream those sessions on YouTube. We're going to use Roll20, and we're going to go through the initial campaign module. Um, and we're going to do a call for playtesters here probably in the next couple of weeks. Mid-June, I would say, is when I'll do that because we need to get at least 4 people, but I want at least 4 to 6 people will be good, and we'll start with that and go from there. And that's all going to kick off in July, so we're getting really close to having all this stuff ready, and which means probably the last 2 weeks of June I'm not going to be doing any writing work on the module. I'm going to be getting it ready for the playtesters. So I'm going to be doing all the maps that I need to have ready, and I'm going to be putting not all of, but I'm going to be putting a lot of Christina's art into the PDF and getting that ready for the players who are playtesting. I'm not going to be doing I'm not going to use InDesign for the first draft. I'm just going to be using probably Microsoft Word. And putting together a very rudimentary PDF and then putting it up into a Google Drive that everyone will have access to. I don't want to spend the time doing InDesign yet because the book's not ready. I haven't finished writing this first module and the first, core everything. And that probably won't be done until, man, we'll see. Fall. It'll be fall before that's like in a completed state as a draft. And then once it's completed as a draft, that's when I can go, okay, now it's time to think about doing a revision, getting everything ready, and then once all the text is ready, and that'll give Chris another few months to do more art, and then I can go get stuff from Shutterstock and some other artists as I need to fill in the gaps. And then once that's all ready, I'll go pay for an InDesign subscription for like 3 months and spend a few months and just put it all together visually and have the actual full PDF ready to go by the end of the year. That's the plan. And then at some point this fall, I'm starting work on drafting the first book in the series as well. Um, I need to finish the outline now that I'm thinking about that too. Because I got the outline about halfway done. Um, I got all the notes. I just haven't actually fleshed out the outline, so I'll still got to do that too. So there's a lot of work that has to be done. So anyway, that's it on the Project Dragon front. That'll be a quickie update today. So yeah, that's a quick, easy episode for today's Mondays and Monday Musings. It's not Mondays and MMORPGs. That's coming later today. So that's an easy episode of Monday Musings. Stay tuned. You got more stuff coming in the pipeline. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for following along. Thanks for supporting. And I will see everybody next time, and whatever's the next episode that we publish here on the channel, if not, then next Monday.